Hello everyone, welcome back to Joey Plays and Build, where we play and build a walk-in exhibit. So we are in the San Diego. We're just getting ready for our dinosaurs. It's gonna be a challenging one because we're gonna build up multiple species of herbivores. And if you've been playing with this game, herbivores are very annoying to build habitats. Why they're so annoying? Because they have some needs and resources that you have to replenish. Now, of course, that maybe not be a problem with some people because they could turn off feeders, they could turn off dinosaurs not eating, not starving. But for us, for how I play, I love to have their resources fulfilled. That's how I am. Unless we have an update where Frontier just say, "Oh heck with all of this. We could take all of that out, then we don't have to be bothered by it." But lo and behold, we had to bother by it. So I'm just basically just setting a little blueprint, a little barrier how I really wanted, the thinking process of this game. Sometimes you have to try to build something out of it first until you get an idea, a vision of something, and then it starts to all place around. Of course, naturally, I want some sort of walk-in exhibit. I want something like a little seating area, maybe have a little restaurant right in the middle so you can enjoy eating while watching your dinosaurs. So that was the whole plan. The challenging part is how to grasp it into the game. Now, obviously, we need to have some sort of a way to barricade ourselves from the dinosaurs. Now, of course, the most common sense is using the invisible fence. It's right in the game. The problem with the invisible fence is that it's not really invisible. I know it's a little nitpick of mine, but I want something to have a little of a design with it, not just have an invisible fence and a path and you're good to go. I want some designs. I want to make my little exhibit beautiful. I want to make it a little bit pretty. So here's is the restaurant, and I'm trying to find a way how to build a restaurant. I'm always underestimating how huge the restaurant is. That is one thing. So gotta make a little bigger pathway, more intended. But later down the line, you see me taking away some of the fences. Now, further through the build, I didn't keep the fence. I don't want the fence in there. The fence is just there to a little barrier, a little parameter where I know how big the habitat is. Again, we're dealing with more than two species of dinosaurs. I think four species. We have the Camarasaurus, which is a beautiful dinosaur, and Montosaurus and Iguanodon. I want some sort of kind of resembles the ungulates of the dinosaurs, and Hadrosaurus and the Iguanodons are like the ungulates. So we have those, and of course some Archaeornithomimus running around and about. So of course, with four species of herbivores, they need a bunch of resources. So we're talking about tall nut, ground fruit, tall fruit, and ground fiber, and maybe ground leaf, etc., etc. So we need a big habitat for that and try to find space how we could replenish their needs but also build a beautiful habitat around it. So we're just building the little walk-in exhibit for our guests. You see a little seating area in the middle and then a little restaurant right at the end. um Anyways, without me just blabbering all the time, just enjoy my little build here. And there you have it, a walk-in exhibit. Right when you get there, there's a seating area right in the middle and then a little restaurant for you guys to enjoy a meal while you're watching the dinosaurs. Okay, so next we're gonna build the habitat. Before that, I like to build a little scenery for our habitats, and mountains is a perfect background, perfect scenery for it. So, little small mountains, big mountains, it really doesn't matter. Now we're gonna head to their watering source. Okay, this is not really much of a arid, dry desert habitat because we're building a habitat for four different types of um, herbivores. So we need a little stream, maybe a little lake here and there. And this is where I got my little parameter set up. So deleting the fences here and there, just figuring out how I want to build a little barricade for our dinosaurs. Some little textures, I think is really important to have little textures. I love the rock texture in the Arizona map. That's not the San Diego map. I do apologize, and just playing with the rocks. Now the rocks are a very crucial part of the habitat because they are our barriers for this habitat. Now there's a lot of different type of styles of rocks that I'm using here. Mainly we're using the desert rocks because those are the main rocks in this game, and plus it blends very well with the desert atmosphere that we're going through. The first paint foliage that we are using is the tall nut, and now this is where basically the Camarasaurus is going to thrive. And at first, I wanted just only a little bit of forest, so like a little semi-arid, but I went all out using the redwood just because, well, that if you play in a desert map, they don't really have tons of foliage to have a little mass coverage. So in order to cover some of the, let's say, rocks or anything that you don't want to be seen, maybe having some redwood trees or some taiga bushes, some of these big taiga bushes that I love using, kind of put a little bit of coverage into your habitats. Here I'm using the Mediterranean rocks. I love the Mediterranean rocks, and usually these Mediterranean rocks are kind of like the little coverage for the tall fruit, and those are big. Yeah, the Camarasaurs, they prefer tall fruit, but also some of the Hadrosaurs, I think the iguanodons as well. And then the ground fiber, usually for me, you could place any foliage that you want, but for me I usually put the ground fiber right next to their little watering source. And yeah, the redwood trees just to have a little coverage in it. And this is the build for this part of the section of the habitat. Okay, so this is part of the build where I have some ideas just come out of nowhere, just come out of the fly, and I was thinking, hey, maybe a hotel would have been good. So this is where I'm going to build a little hotel for our guests if they really love to stay in this habitat, in this little enclosure for a day or two and see our dinosaurs just one more time. Maybe they could reserve a hotel and They could see the dinosaurs at night or when they wake up and have a good breakfast in the morning and while watching our Camarasaurs and Iguanodon living their life. Yeah, something very unique and creative ways to build your habitat, you know what I mean? Maybe it could not be a hotel, it could be another restaurant area. Maybe it could be another attraction. It could be a zip line across the habitat. Whatever you feel that you love to build your habitats in unique and different ways, just go ahead and play around with it. You know, there's a lot of ways that you could build your habitats in unique different design. And here, doing the same way how I built, but this time using some of the tropical trees. You know, since we have a hotel right on top, I think it will be good to have like some sort of beach theme going on. And of course, the tropical palm trees works very well. And then just play around with more of the decorative items. Usually I play around with the Mediterranean items, some of the desert items, some of the bush that I picked from the temperate section, the taiga section, of course, those big bushes. I love those big taiga bushes, and just play around with some of the foliage here and there and see what works and what doesn't work. And what doesn't work, just take it out. And what does work, just leave it in. It's all up to you. Now we're going to the third part of the habitat, and I want a little mountain range, a giant mountain range. And this is the part where I thought I was building an Arizona map, so I was thinking some Arizona mountains. But no, we're in the San Diego map. But yeah, but we're having some mountains up here. Maybe have a little beach resort right here, little beachy sand, some palm trees here and there. Maybe have some another hotel up in the mountain, which there you go. Have another hotel, but this time we're using the Jurassic Park hotel. You know, something very creative and unique ways of building your parks and play around with the terrains as well. Maybe you want to lower some of the terrains a little bit. Maybe you want to higher the terrains. Maybe have some weird, funky stuff playing with the terrain. Just have fun playing with the game. And of course, have fun playing with the rocks as well. Like I am playing with so many different types of rocks, the Mediterranean, the desert. Mainly those are the two rocks that I play. But, you know, just experiment with the game a little bit. See what works for you, see what doesn't. And, you know, this is another part that I have so much fun playing is experiment with some of the ways of the game that has provided. Now we're in the last stretch of the habitat, and you see all of the fences, they're gone because I don't need them anymore. I already have my parameter, I already have everything set up, and replace them with more mountains. This time they're bigger mountains, drew them a little bit. What I usually do, I raise up the terrain first, make it a little like some sort of pyramid, then I flatten using the flat tool, flatten the the mountain just a little bit, you know, maybe have some more different shapes and sizes, some small ones, some big ones, and then I raise them up again so it can be much of a bigger mountain. And then I use the tools to flatten a little bit, maybe smooth them a little bit, and then you got yourself a big tall mountain. Now the rocks, you know, using them as a barricade, of course we need our dinosaurs to be enclosed, but they don't feel like it's enclosed. I hope I'm explaining a little bit better, but having the rocks, they can't jump over the rocks. So it's a cool way to use some unique ways of building your habitat. Now, of course, you can't, you know, rocks is not the only option. You could use planters in this game. They can go through planters as well. maybe some unique ways that you could find in the game that they could stop from barricading. There's so many tools that in this game that you could use for instead of using fences if you're not fond of fences. I'm not fond of fences. I really love my habitats to feel somewhat natural, have this realistic look. And fences obviously doesn't have that feel realistic look. It still feels like a zoo. And I don't want to feel like a zoo. I want to feel like a natural habitat for our dinosaurs. So here again, playing around with some of the foliage, some of the decorative foliage, and of course having the resources. But yet, there's a lot of dinosaurs that we have here, so some of the resources kind of feel like sticking out the sore thumb. But I felt like we got everything worked out and we got ourselves the habitat that we have built. And here it is, the final product of the walk-in habitat. But we are not done yet. So having our dinosaurs in it, I want to make sure if the dinosaurs are satisfied, are they happy, and there we don't have any escape threats going on. We have a big mountain right here on a little sign in it, and of course we have the Jurassic Park arch, which is a good way to have it signed. And here's where I may have so much fun with the decorations. You could build whatever designs you want. Of course, for me, I like to keep it a little bit simple, a little planters and a little path, and then I'm done. I don't need to go all out, but you could go all out. This is a free roam game that you guys could go play. I love to have a little seating area with a mountain right there. Maybe some guests just want to go out again. If they want to have breakfast or lunch or dinner while watching the dinosaurs, maybe they could sit in the little sitting area that we built there. Something for our guests to feel satisfied in their stay. And we're at the end of the video, and I would like to thank you for your time. Hopefully you guys have some inspiration in this build. If you guys liked what you see, make sure you give it a like. Maybe you could subscribe to my channel. I do some Jurassic World builds, habitat builds, and give me some suggestions and comments what you guys want. Any advice, give me some advice as well, what I need to improve. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching.